Hey, welcome back to Five Lakes Garage, and today we're actually in the shop. We're not downstairs, but we're upstairs, the woodworking shop, because I have a slight issue. I got a mess downstairs, and what we're going to do today is actually make a DIY wire storage unit. Alright, so here's the problem. I went downstairs and actually put a electric fan in the Wagoneer. I have a lot of wire. It's just put in a box. I throw it underneath the workbench, and when I want to do a wiring project, I pull it all out and I have to sort through it. That's getting annoying. So what I want to do is actually take a lot of I have some 10 gauge wire. I got 4 of these. I got some 14 gauge wire, but I have like 12 of these, and they're just sitting in a box. Don't like it. We're going to actually take it and make a storage unit so I can put it on the wall and actually just pull off whatever I need. Now, as you know, I'm a cheap little SOB. So we're gonna use some scrap stuff that we have laying around the shop, because we always have scrap stuff because we always have projects. So I'm just gonna use some 2x6s. We're gonna use some all thread that I have in a box, maybe some 2x4s, some plywood, and we're gonna actually make it to where it's gonna be beautiful. So a couple little different things. The reason why I'm gonna use plywood in between the different stacks is if you have 2 of them right here and I pull the white one, the blue one's gonna get unraveled. I don't want to do that. What I want is a barrier in between that when you pull one, you're not pulling the other. So let's go ahead and cut everything down. Try to design it in my head. I haven't even got it written down yet. Design it in my head, get the measurements, start cutting, and just throwing it together. Quick and easy, baby. All right, it's a very simple process here. So you have, these are gonna be my intermediate, gonna have one there and one there. Now the reason why I'm using actually 2x6s is because I need the depth, because these 10 gauge 100-foot rolls are huge. It's actually bigger than the piece. So we're gonna have to bring that out just a little bit and it'll hang out. But I think once it's done, we should be in great shape. All right, excuse me. So now what we got to do is actually lay it all out, get all the measurements and stuff like that, because we need our long pieces. It's gonna be crude, but it's gonna work. Yeah. All right, let me get it set up. I want to bring it back and show you. All right, so we got everything all lined up here. Take a look. Way too much crap in the way. All right, so like I said, very simple. I am using the 2x12s, 2x6s on the side, just because I have them, and then you have the individual stuff. Now these guys here will actually be way out here, so the all thread will go straight through this way. I'm just using this for spacing because we need about 15 and a half inches. Now what those are going to be for will be the bottom and the top. So what I really would like to do is actually lay it flat, like a 2x4. There it is. There it is. So anyway, I'm going to lay this flat on the bottom so I can screw into this and screw it onto the wall, and then we won't have to worry about how we're going to tow this or how to do whatever. So what I might have to do is shorten these guys up just a bit in order to have this 2x4 go all the way across. Now it's going to be a different one because I need one just a little. Well, that actually might work. That actually gonna work. Let me find another one of those. I'll put it on the other side. Drill some holes. Bob's your uncle. Bam! It's gonna be right. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome. Anyway, let's keep figuring it out and bringing you along with me. All right, I think I got it laid out, and like I said, it's a very simple design. So what I did here, take a peek. All right, so basically designed what I've already showed you here, but what I did was actually notch these. Just took it on the bandsaw, notched them out because, like I said, I wanted to have these boards flat. Now, before I actually drill these guys and put everything together, we do need to drill the holes for the all thread. Now, this is a 1/2 inch all thread, so I'll probably go with maybe 5/8 or so, just to make it a little bit bigger, so that it doesn't bind up as I'm trying to stick it through. Now, before I screw everything in there, these guys here are just going to be floating. The all thread will actually hold it in place, and also the wire holders will actually keep the distance. The only thing I'm really worried about screwing down would be the back place and the side pieces. Now eventually, and maybe I'll just put a piece on top to be able to hold it laterally so these guys don't rot back and forth, but I think with the 4-inch screws that are going to put into the 2x4, I think we should be in good shape. Now I'm going to go ahead and drill out some pilot holes for the screws just so I don't split anything. I've done that before. It is a pain in the butt and very frustrating when you have it all nice and pretty, you stick it in, it splits, and you don't have the strength that you really want. So I guess next step would be to tear it all apart, stack all these together, mark our holes. So we'll use the actual wire itself as a template on where we're actually going to put it. There you go. Maybe I should have put a tie wrap or something on it. Anyway, and then take it to a drill press, drill it out, put it together. Man, it's going to be easy. I don't know if I'll paint it, but you never know. I might paint it. And yes, I could buy this from the store, but it feels so much better when you make it yourself. All right, we're almost ready to start drilling. So all I really did was actually take our spools and I placed them up here and figure out exactly the spacing that I really want. Now I wanted to give a little more space for these 10 gaugers, but as long as there's enough space in between, you should be fine. And then once I actually drew out the little circles, I took it off, but then I took a straight edge on my quick square here and put it down here and then ran a line going down. Now I eyeballed the distance between all three, well 4, but I want to make sure that they're actually straight. So instead of putting it in the circle, I'm going to go in the circle but right on that vertical line or horizontal line or whatever line, the parallel line from that guy. So anyway, drill, 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 drill. I have all of them stacked together because obviously you need them straight on. Now put your plywood in between because what I'm going to use is an auger bit, and sometimes it kind of catches and kind of boogers it up. So use the 2x4 as the sandwich. Make sure that they're all lined up and get on the drill press. All right, so I got everything up here. Got it all lined up, and I'm going to use my clamps to actually hold it together. Now, like I said before, I'm not going to go directly on the circle. I'm going to go on the line that's in the circle. Then, and this is an auger bit, hopefully it is sharp enough. Well, we're going to find out. Woo. All right, as you can see, I got a hole. All right, I'm just going to do the other 3. Same routine. Unfortunately, my bit is not, or the throw on the drill press is not long enough. I had to adjust the actual table in order to drill all the way through. But I'm going to go ahead and finish off these, come back, and we're going to put it all together. And it is going to be, well, functional. Right back. All right, so we're pretty much ready for final assembly, and this is what we had. I did have to add a couple extra things because when you do stuff like this, especially when you do it on the fly, when you actually didn't really think about it before you did it, there's going to be some modifications that you need to make. Now, one of the things I did do, here you go. All right, now these spools here are a little bit skinnier than these right here, but all I did was actually just put another piece of plywood in between, drilled a hole, and now it's going to be used as a spacer. The main reason why we want that spacer in there, because if you have too much space in here, and actually this is a little slack because I don't have it screwed in, but if this wire gets caught halfway through here, you're kind of getting irritated because it will not pull off the thread off the spool. So we didn't want to do that. Now the other thing that I did was go around and pre-pilot all the where the screws are going to go in. Now the main reason why I did that, one, I didn't want it to split like I said earlier, and the other one is that apparently I ran out of 4-inch screws or 3.5-inch screws that I would usually use for this project. Instead, I have 2-inchers, which are threaded mostly all the way up. Now, what I'm going to do with this guy is once it goes in, I'm going to countersink it, so it'll be at least about 3/4 of an inch to an inch of thread inside the actual piece of material, which should be enough to actually hold it together. This is not going to have a lot of strain on it, so we should be okay. Now, I'll put a 2x4 down here at the bottom to hold everything together. Also have a 2x6, which, man, I think this thing's been outside for a minute. She is strong and sturdy. I'm not sure what, I don't know if it's pine. It looks like it's pine, but man, that thing was tight. Anyway, I'm gonna put this on top, so when I actually put it on the wall, I can have a shelf to put in connectors or grommets, pliers, strippers, whatever. Put it on top and it will be all together. So what we gotta do now is grab our impact here and go ahead and screw it all together. And don't forget to countersink your screws, or else you're not going to have a lot to hold it together. You got all that? Great. All right, that's pretty much it. Like I said, very easy, very simple. I just have it propped up here just for display purposes, but I do need to bring it downstairs and actually put some screws into the wall and find out exactly where I want to put it. Now you could use some, this is all threaded, it's 1/2 inch, so you could use some washers and some nuts to actually hold these things in there so it doesn't slide in and out. I'll just use tie wraps, got plenty of them. Might as well use them. Also, the only 1/2 inch nuts I have downstairs is grade 8. Kind of hard to believe I'm going to use a grade 8 for something like this, but I've done it before. Those are a little expensive, but tie wraps are relatively cheap. Now these are all ready to spin. Now I do have a little bit of friction on all of them so that it doesn't go, you know, almost like a rod on a reel when you're fishing and you're using like a bait caster or something like that, and it gets a big knotted mess. So I'm attempting to keep that down to a minimum. So yeah, next step, bring it downstairs and find a place on the wall. But first, I need to take all these off because I got to get to the board. Can't get to the board. But anyway, let's get downstairs, screw it into the wall, and show you how it looks. And it's going to be functional, and I am excited because I'm tired of putting this into a box. All right, I'm super stoked at how it actually turned out. I'm very pleased with it. It's definitely going to be sturdy, definitely going to last for a really long time. Now, if you need to replace any of the spools, obviously just take the all thread out, put a new spool in, put it back in, throw a tie wrap on there just to keep it in there. Now, I do have it set up right next to my little storage bin for all of my connectors. It's always a good idea, like I said in other videos, of actually getting decent connectors. I got some cheapy ones over here for like real quick experimental stuff, but if I'm going to do it for real, I got some decent ones here that actually has heat shrink on there, and these are watertight. These particular brand has glue inside of it, and when you heat it up, it'll actually contract and glue it together so it will not come off, and they are watertight. If you don't have some of those and you just need some heat shrink, get yourself a big bundle of it. Just keep them around. Always works great. Now this one right here is one of the latest things I actually picked up, and it is they are heat shrink plastic on there, and these will actually work pretty well as well. And I have everything from itty bitty tiny weedy weedies all the way up to like 10 gauge, so got it covered. Always keep that on hand. Now, just a couple of extra tips just to try to help you out. Make sure you have decent crimpers. Depends on what kind of connector you're using, depends on what kind of crimper you want to use. Now the heat shrink connectors that I have up here, you need to have a decent, I recommend a ratcheting crimper. Now these right here have really wide bases. It doesn't have like a really sharp kind of connecting like these. Like these are mostly for like little tiny connections, and also blades and yeah, the pins that you put inside the Deutsch connectors. Yeah, those things. Also, get yourself some good strippers. These things are awesome. You just stick it into the end, pull the thing, and boom, it's already stripped. And of course, to top off of my collection, I do have these guys here. I got this from my dad. He was an electrician in the Navy, and these things work great depending on what kind of connector it is. It does have the little bump in there to where it'll actually curve it all the way around. You just gotta make sure you put it in there correctly. I'll go over that in another video. But I have my shelf up here. I got all my crimpers on one spot. I got all my cables. Now I did put all the cable to where they all come from the top. I'm an over puller, not an under puller. I don't like when it pulls underneath. I don't know why, I just don't. But yeah, I just got it all, man. I'm awesome. I know. Anyway, this particular project, blood Yes. Sweat? Yes. Tears? Yeah, not so much because it came out pretty good. So anyway, check out all the other stuff. Stay tuned for more. I got boat stuff, I got car stuff, Jeep stuff, wiring stuff. We got stuff. Stay tuned, take a look, check out all the other stuff. We'll catch you next time. Later.